If you're looking for the absolute best AI in crypto, Internet Computer Protocol is it by far. There's nothing else that's this exciting and that has the real technology Internet Computer Protocol has. Now, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and I hold tens of thousands of ICP because this is the best AI project I see anywhere in crypto, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why right now. So the first thing you need to understand in order for this to make sense, though, is that everything in crypto is not actually built 100% on the blockchain. Almost everything outside of Internet Computer Protocol, when you hear a project is built, quote, on-chain, what it actually means is there's a tiny token ledger that it has some tokens on the chain, and then the rest of it is built on centralized tech. Now, if you haven't seen this post by Dominic Williams, this will explain it much further, but this is one of the biggest points of confusion in crypto, is you hear these projects in crypto talking about AI, but what they're building is not fully on chain, which means it can't be owned fully on chain. And it means you don't get any of the decentralization or the security, tamper-proof, or verifiability that you get from the blockchain. So right now, Dominic said that more than 90% of people at a crypto conference thought that if a project is built on chain, then it would actually have the whole project on the blockchain. So nothing else in crypto for AI can actually do 100% of the AI fully on chain. Now, that is a huge deal because only on ICP can you run AI models as smart contracts. And being able to run AI models as smart contracts is very important because the AI models can be then guaranteed to execute a certain way. You can verify that they've been trained a certain way or that they will put a certain output out given a certain input. This means it can not only be tamper-proof and unstoppable, but it can actually be autonomous. ICP offers the best infrastructure I see in the world right now to make an AI that could actually have general intelligence and operate autonomously and pay for its own computation and then be able to actually participate in governance and any decisions related to it. Right now, all the AI on centralized servers can always just be unplugged and there's no transparency and it can't pay the bills to host itself. So if you want to build a very powerful AI model that controls itself and that can't be tampered with, ICP is the only hope of an infrastructure for that I see right now. Maybe I'm not aware of other things, but if there were, I'm sure somebody else would be talking about it, and I haven't seen anybody talking about these particular things. Now, if you're wondering, well, why with ICP having like a $3 billion market cap, why does it have vastly superior technology to everything else in crypto? That's because they have the largest research and development team in blockchain. They have more core developers than any other protocol except Ethereum, from what I've seen. And Ethereum at this point is largely, from what I can see, mostly doing maintenance, just keeping things running. Whereas ICP, they have made absolute breakthrough technology and are constantly innovating it and increasing the capabilities of what it can do, as you can see on their global research and development reports every month. So this team is the largest in blockchain, and they made technology that's so far past anything else that the only blockchain that's been able to get to this level is ICP. And what's really exciting about ICP is not just having fully on-chain AI, but combining some of the tools from centralized AI, like models to write code, and then combining that with the unique programming language that ICP offers called Motoko, and then putting all of that into an application called Caffeine AI. So what we're going to see very soon, and we're already seeing demos of this, which I'll look at, there's an application called Caffeine AI that Dfinity is releasing soon and demoing now. And what this application does, it's like a Replit where you talk to it and it codes for you. The demos have been very impressive, but some of you will be like, well, what's different from others? Well, first off, just the others, things like Replit, are growing rapidly. things like Replit are getting mass adoption right now as they continue to skyrocket, because if you don't code, or even if you are a developer, using AI coding tools can really speed up your workflow. But because ICP is a blockchain where you can put the entire tech stack directly on chain, unlike any other blockchain, Caffeine AI has unique capabilities that will make it the #1 AI coding software, or however you want to describe that, the #1 way you can just talk to AI and code. And this post by Timo on the forums really highlighted this. So some people are asking, like, why would I use Caffeine if I already have my own AI coding assistant in whatever language? So here's, to me, where ICP and Caffeine AI really stand out because of the actual technology, not marketing or hype. Timo says, in my understanding, Caffeine is more about the AI can deploy the backend instead of the AI can code the backend. Because on these other environments, you can use templates and use AI to just copy and paste certain website templates. I've just talked to a guy yesterday that was doing that. But if you want to actually code the backend and have the AI deploy it, and then what's really special is putting all this together. There's many models and services that can just code, but you still have to deploy manually on these, or use some template and copy and paste the template itself to Google Cloud, which leaves very little customization. So what Caffeine AI is doing is it integrates with deployment, so that someone with only a phone, no terminal, no Google Cloud subscription, can just build and deploy immediately. And he goes on that there might be some web AI services in the future that allows you to deploy to AWS or other infrastructure. That'll be good for testing. But here's another big thing. It'll be very hard or impossible to let the AI alone upgrade a running backend with user data in it. The distinguishing factor with Caffeine and the ICP Motoko combination is that it allows that you can upgrade a running backend with user data in it, because it prevents the data loss during the upgrade. So even if your AI makes a mistake, the AI can still recover the data. You won't have any guarantees anywhere else. So this allows somebody with just a phone to start deploying a service and then constantly upgrade it. And yes, of course, Caffeine can code and deploy the front end too, but others can do that. And then Dfinity can always, swap out the model and consistently upgrade it. So right now, ICP has absolute world-class AI implementation across multiple areas of innovation. Both, you've got AI models like a DeepSeek model running fully on chain on ICP, and you've got centralized AI models or trained models that are then custom coded by Dfinity and trained, and then cranking out front ends and back ends directly on chain, which will allow someone like me to just talk to the AI, code my own website on jerrybanfield.com instead of using something very simple like I've got now. I'll be able to talk to Caffeine AI and build a more and more complex website, get users actually on the website, and then upgrade the entire backend, which I can't do anywhere else. And I can do all that without a developer. And then if I need a developer, I could just have them come, audit or check various problems I'm having in the code instead of doing it myself. So this would bring my time to getting an application running, the security of it. Right now, people are loving these vibe coding platforms where you can just code, have the AI code for you, but people are bragging about how insecure those are and then hacking people's applications and websites that they've coded with AI. And then those are mostly static websites. So ICP is at the breaking edge of innovation with Caffeine AI and with running AI infrastructure, which this is just something getting started. You've got people already deploying different AI models on chain and testing different use cases. But where I'm really going to blow your mind is where this can go in the future. Because on ICP you can run the models as smart contracts, they can then be verifiable and guaranteed to execute, which is important to make different models work together for specific training and more complicated outputs. Right now you have models like ChatGPT, and sure, if ChatGPT itself is trained in the area you want it to, like I use it for graphic design, I made the background image with ChatGPT, then sure, you can train it to put out an image like this because it's been trained on poker chips and solar systems and infinity symbols. It can put all those together. But what if you want it to make something very specific and you need to train it with a bunch of different images yourself? Well, maybe that ChatGPT can do that. I have not found great success just giving it pictures of me. It cranks out in generated images that don't look very good. So if you want to train your own model, then you'd be stuck. Even if ChatGPT could do it, you'd just be stuck using it for yourself. They do have API plugins and other people making things. But here's where ICP and AI in smart contracts really gets crazy. Imagine in the future as ICP continues to get upgraded and can run higher and higher levels of AI models, do more and more computation and training directly on chain. Right now, we're still in the very basic levels of that. You really need to train it off-chain using large amounts of data, or take an existing model and then specifically train it on-chain with smaller amounts of data. And sometimes that's questionable as to exactly how you can do that today. But in the future, ICP has already innovated more than anyone else in AI. And in the future, what you should be able to do is to have hundreds, maybe even thousands of different AI models that are trained for specific purposes. You could run them all together off of each other. You could have a massive database or an application that would have all kinds of these different models trained on very specific things, like models trained to produce my face or my body or my voice or videos of me, for example. I could take and train a model to just be a Jerry Banfield model. And then what I could do is I could put that model on ICP. And then if you wanted to generate it, I could actually get royalties directly off that model. But here's where it gets crazy. Because they're in smart contracts, right now, if you try and use a bunch of different AI models together, like if I try and have Gemini and Grok and ChatGPT, those are all in different tech silos. So getting all those to run together and train them all in different plugins is a nightmare, if not impossible. On ICP, because you can run stuff as smart contracts and they can pay for their own computation, and it's based on a crypto, so you could do microtransactions. What I foresee in the future is that ICP, where it's really going to shine. Caffeine is definitely going to be absolutely incredible right now. But where we're heading in the future is being able to have thousands and maybe even tens of thousands of different models all on chain, and then having one interface to draw from all those models. Picture like thousands and thousands of different versions of DeepSeek, all trained on very specific use cases. And then you could put prompts in there that would then pick from all those different models to run. And then the creators of those models could get tiny, tiny micropayment royalties every time their model ran. And what you could do is then have the absolute best opportunities for AI developers and people running AI models to train models and make models that they can immediately monetize. And then you could have this AI general intelligence juggernaut that in theory could have tens or even hundreds of thousands of models that all work together and interacted with each other. Because they're in smart contracts, you can guarantee that they execute correctly. This would not work outside of this environment as far as I'm aware, because if you can't guarantee the models execute correctly and they're not in smart contracts, then they're not going to be able to work together. But what I'm foreseeing in a little more distant future is that you could have just hundreds of thousands of AI models on ICP, and they could all run off each other. And you could turn this into essentially a big brain. Check out the big brain on Brad. You could run all these as like a big brain, and then there'd be a huge incentive with the micropayments for people to keep making more and more AI models. And then as a user, this would be your supercomputer you step up to and say, I want to do this ultra specific task. And it's like, great, we have 5 different models trained on that. And here's a better result than you can get with centralized AI. And then the creators are getting royalties off of that. So to me, that's a possible more far out future scenario. Right now, we've got the down to earth right here in practical reality of what we can see with Caffeine AI. that should absolutely blow up ICP and bring a lot of adoption outside of crypto. People that don't even care about blockchain or crypto coming into ICP, and then the continuing breakthroughs on AI will allow things that, you know, seem like science fiction today to happen on the blockchain. Now, obviously, it's not financial advice. Obviously, I have a big vested interest in telling you about this. I invested in ICP because the tech is so far past anything else, and the market cap so tiny. Like, ICP is the dominant technology in crypto. It dominates in technology more than Bitcoin does in market cap. So to me, when you're in the top, you know, not even in the top 20 in the total value of the coin, but your tech is number one, more dominant than Bitcoin is, this is where I have all my money because of the tech. So this is what I see happening with AI in ICP going forward. If you found this helpful, I'm a full-time YouTuber. Would love for you to subscribe to the Jerry Banfield Show on YouTube.